you do if I sang out of tune? That's all he gave me, that's all he wrote. I also would love to bring greetings from everybody across Canada in the environmental movement. I now live in that beautiful province that we kept fighting to protect, the last, most beautiful wilderness area of British Columbia. And we'd always say, after the first campaign, the second campaign, and the third campaign, Lois is nodding, because all the environmental movement, we always went around with dear Colleen and with Vicki and people who were working to protect. First it was the Canadian Galapagos, the Queen Charlotte Islands, the most beautiful, the most incredible, the most fantastic, spectacular wilderness area anywhere on the planet. It is unbelievable, and we must protect it. It is like, and we'd say, after a while, John Broad would say, what are we going to say about the next one? So we would, in fact, work together right across this country to help each other in wilderness campaigns. And one of the things that's hard about being from the Maritimes is that we have so much wilderness gone. We have so much damage done. And it's a lot harder to rally people across Canada to open up gates on the Petitcodiac River, but we did it. I'm really glad, really happy that no one tells me anything anymore because I'm in politics. In the environmental movement, I would have gotten a news flash, but the work that's been done by the Conservation Council over the years includes, and I think this was spectacular, the number of citizens of this province who poured into the public hearings to stop that. I'm trying to remember the name of the Finnish firm. Was it Jaakko Pori, or am I making that up? Yeah, that is their real name. Stopping that plan to increase and double the logging of New Brunswick forests, and overwhelmingly, I think Keith Ashford was Minister of Environment at the time, or Minister of Natural Resources, and had to say, right, okay, we're going to make protection of old-growth Acadian forest a priority. That was not in Mr. Irving's plan when that public consultation began. They were having fits in the forest industry because it was sort of a first for not being able to get what was wanted. I started working in New Brunswick, just as David says, years and years ago when the Conservation Council was Dana Silk. I'm still a friend of Dana. You can find him in Ottawa. He and his partner own a fantastic bakery. So in case you're in Ottawa, Le Boulanger Français, it's absolutely fabulous. Les pain au chocolat to die for. So you can find Dana. I wish he was here. The work that was done by the Conservation Council early on, I'd come to New Brunswick, and I've got to say the Concerned Parents Foundation, the Concerned Parents of New Brunswick, did tons of work to stop budworm spraying, and we were all working together, and that's one of those legacies that you don't like to remember. You know, what province in Canada wants to be remembered as occupying an entire chapter in Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, Rivers of Death? Yes, that's the New Brunswick spray story by Rachel Carson. We now look back and realize just sort of, there's no satisfaction in being in the environmental movement saying, I told you so. And by the way, David, that really wasn't fair about Point Lepreau, because when they said it was the best darn nuclear reactor money can buy, that was actually true. That's about what you get from nuclear reactors. They break down, they don't work, they cost billions of dollars, and then you get the nuclear waste. Well, anyway, I also wanted to say that of all the issues Conservation Council's work over all the years, the dynamic duo that I think, and it's always hard to single people out. I mean, there's so many volunteers in this room, Lucy being here and Richard. We know the fantastic work done by executive director after executive director, and they're listed in our program, but when I look at the names, I think, oh yeah, Julie Avishar was right, and Inca did it. But you look back and you think, where would we have ever been in this province without Kim and Kay Bedell? Without the work of Hal Hines, people who are no longer with us, that we miss. But I've always felt that one of David Coon's master strokes, just genius of political timing, was the launch of the report on leaking underground storage tanks. Remember this issue of groundwater protection? Leaking underground storage tanks constituted a risk that no one was paying attention to. And I've always wondered how David managed to orchestrate the explosion of one the morning of the day that he released the report that called for groundwater protection. And, well, now that I've heard Vaughn's story of you scaling the walls and going through windows, my whole view of what you're capable of doing is, Vaughn, maybe you did the underground storage tank